Hello and welcome back to Kerala on IAS. This is me Praveen Chauve and I am going to discuss about most important topic in environment called conservation projects for wildlife in India. All the conservation projects till date government of India started for the conservation of important species in our country. Okay. Now first of all you have to understand what is conservation all about. When we talk about conservation, it means we are talking about biodiversity conservation. Okay, conservation. And what are the different mode of conservation? There are two different mode of conservation. First one is called your in situ conservation and other one is called ex situ conservation. So in situ conservation means conservation of species in their natural habitat at the site, at the same site. Okay, on spot means when we conserve species in their natural habitat, okay, that process is called in situ conservation. For example, if you want to take an example of in situ conservation, so it will be an example like national park, wildlife sanctuaries, tiger reserve, okay, then conservation reserve, community reserve. These are some example of or most important biosphere reserve. These all are example of in situ conservation, means conservation of species in their natural habitat. We are not relocating species from one location to other location. Instead of doing this method, we are conserving any species in their natural habitat. Second one is called your ex situ conservation. This is means off-site. We can say it's off-site. Means where if the species population is drastically declined, okay, means we can say only less than 10 individual is left in natural habitat. So we take this species into a controlled environment where we protect the species in their controlled environment. And few example of ex situ conservation is called like your you can say a zoological garden. Okay, zoological garden where you see a zoological park. Okay, zoo, when you visit a zoo and see the different animals, zoological garden. Second important, it will be a botanical garden. Okay, then your captive breeding. These all are example of your ex situ conservation. Okay, so in this video, we will discuss about the important wildlife conservation project that was started by the government of India. And for Prelims point of view, all these projects are very important. You should know about the importance of the project, what about the species, because each and every project is specifically for a particular species. Okay, so you should know about this species in a very well, okay, so that maybe in exam the question will become, so you should able to find out the correct option. Okay, so let's start our this video. The first project we are going to discuss about here, Project Hangul. Okay, very important one, Project Hangul. Okay, this is the image you see. This is called Hangul. Okay, this is called Project Hangul. Now this Kashmir stag is also called Hangul. This is the first important thing. You should know the Hangul is also known as Kashmir stag. So in exam, maybe they can ask you either Kashmir stag or Hangul. Any of the word they can use. So don't confuse here. Okay. So you should know both the name. Kashmir stag, also called Hangul, is a subspecies. It is called subspecies of Central Asian red deer native to northern India. Okay, each and every statement is important, each and every word is important here. Central, it is called subspecies of Central Asian red deer and native to northern India, not southern India. Maybe in exam they can use in the statement southern India. Okay, so read each and every word. It's mentioned about in northern India. Okay, now it is the state animal of Jammu and Kashmir. Very important point. This is the state animal of Jammu and Kashmir. Now Jammu and Kashmir, you know, is a UT. Okay, apart from UT, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, both are UT. So it's a state animal. You can say it's the part of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, what is the natural habitat? Which national park? In which national park you will see a Kashmiri stag or Hangul? So you can see in Kashmir, it is found in Dachigam National Park. Okay, Dachigam National Park at an elevation of 3035 meters. So you can say 3035 meters, such a height, temperature is very less, and this type of animals require a cool climate. Okay, cool climate type. So Dachigam National Park, whenever maybe they can ask you a question, consider the following pair type. They will give the name of the species and national park. So central, you can say Kashmir stag or Hangul, Dachigam National Park. So try to remember both the name of the species and their national park. Now it was started in 1970. The project was started in 1970 by the Jammu and Kashmir government. Okay, with the support of IUCN and World Wildlife Fund. Very important. Maybe in exam they can use only IUCN and Jammu and Kashmir, and they left World Wildlife Fund. So it was the initiative of Jammu and Kashmir with the support of IUCN World Wildlife Fund, prepared a project for the protection of Hangul and the Kashmir stag habitat. It means this project was initiative was started by in Jammu and Kashmir government in 1970, where the protection of the species along with their habitat. Okay, means they are in a natural, we can say, ecosystem where these species are surviving. So we have to also focus on habitat, means what are the climate. Okay, means the ability of number of individuals should be there, a grazing ground should be available for their survival. So that everything that required for the protection of the Hangul in their natural habitat is important to conserve. Okay, now this project for the conservation and protection of Kashmir stag came to be known as Project Hangul, and its population increased by 340 by 1980. So now its population was increases because of the initiative of the government and some international bodies, including IUCN and World Wildlife Fund. Okay, so now the population is 340 that was increases. Okay, what are the important point, other important point about the Kashmiri stag? So this Kashmiri stag changes their brownish fur with season and age. This is again a very important statement. So this Kashmiri stag changes their brownish fur. You see a fur that is a part present on the skin of this animal that changes. Okay, with seasons and age. Maybe they will summer, winter season, or according to their age, when it will become more older. So brownish fur is always changing. So this one is important statement that you should know. Now, each and every species, most important thing is you should know about their IUCN status. So Kashmiri stag का IUCN status क्या है? It is a critically endangered. Okay, remember it's a critically endangered. Maybe they can ask you a question: which of the following species in India is critically endangered? So that will also include your Kashmiri stag or Hangul. Under Wildlife Protection Act 1972, it is the part of Schedule 1. So you know there are total number of 6 schedules are there. Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those species that will become the part of Schedule 1 required a more protection from the government. Okay, so Kashmir stag is the part of Schedule 1 under Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Now let us discuss what are the threats. Why this population of this Kashmiri stag is declining? What are the important threats in their survival? The first one is called habitat destruction. This is the common threat for each and every species in India. Habitat destruction, because population is increases, human being population is increasing, they demand more land for agriculture practice, for construction activity, deforestation. So because of these reasons, human activity is more increases in natural, we can say in protected area part or natural vegetation. So first reason behind for threat is called habitat destruction. The intrusion of the human population in the Kashmir stag habitat has been responsible for declining population of the Kashmir red stag. Now the government approved many of the industries like cement industry. डाचिगम नेशनल पार्क के आसपास सीमेंट इंडस्ट्रीज का सेटअप करना, और वो सबसे ज़्यादा इस यहाँ के वाइल्ड लाइफ जो है प्रोजेक्ट अंगुल जो है कश्मीर स्टैग है, दैट पॉपुलेशन इज डिक्लाइनिंग because of setup of all these industries. Second one is called overgrazing. So by the domestic livestock has caused stress situation which have affected the reproductive cycle of the Hangul. Overgrazing, shortage of food supply, this is another reason. And third one is called poaching, illegal killing of these animals. Okay, so is another concern for the Kashmir red stag, and the situation get deteriorated by the introduction of terrorists in the Kashmir stag habitat. Now terrorists you see more active in Kashmir regions, so their habitat is further destroyed, and more poaching by the terrorist groups for meat purpose, for their just utilized for meat purpose. So poaching, overgrazing, habitat destruction, these are the some important reason behind for declining the population of Kashmiri state stag. Okay, so what are the important point you should remember for exam point of view? You should know the IUCN status, वाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट 72 में उसका क्या किस लिस्ट में आता है, किस शेड्यूल में आता है. Apart from this, national park, Dachigam National Park is one important natural, we can say, a park, national park, where population of Kashmiri stag is present, and it was started in 1970 under the with the initiative government of Jammu and Kashmir, along with IUCN and World Wildlife Fund. Okay, these are some important keywords you should remember for exam point of view. Let's move to the next project called a Project Lion. Project Lion. Okay. Now Project Lion से अभी तक UPSC में question नहीं पूछा है, so maybe this year there will be a question from Project Lion. Now, a dedicated Asiatic lion conservation project. Remember the name Asiatic Lion Conservation Project has been launched by the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So this project was launched by a government of India, a ministry called Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Now, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has approved the project for 3 financial years from 2018 to 2021. Okay, so this financial year is very important, 2018 to 2021. So that's why this is a year 2021. So question in prelims, maybe they can ask you bit about the Project Lion. Okay, now let's talk some about a point about the project, this about the lion. The project envisages scientific management. Okay, what are the important objective of this project is scientific management with the involvement of communities. See, for the protection of any of these species or natural habitat, we required a local people. Local people, their coordination is very important. Okay, their involvement is required because they know very well about their means everything about the particular species. वो कब उसका मतलब क्या movement है, उसका जो core area है, where exactly it spend most of the time of their day, वो सारे local people को ज़्यादा पता होता है. इसलिए involvement of communities in coordination with multi-sectoral agency for disease control and veterinary care for all conservation of Asiatic lion. Okay, so very important means a local involvement का होना है, and multi-sectoral agency that include your medical staff should be who can study about the virus or diseases that is spread among the lions. Okay, वो किस क्या disease है, उसका पीछे reason क्या है, वो सारे को study करना, सारे कुछ इसके अंदर Project Lion के अंदर आता है. Now this project has species conservation over a large landscape approach. Okay, this project का species conservation over a large landscape approach means we have to conserve this species for a larger areas. Okay, larger landscape. Gir National Park in Gujarat. Gujarat is the only state in India where naturally this Asiatic lion is present. So we have to conserve a large area. Okay, large landscape. Landscape include your that different types of landforms are included in landscape. So it's called species conservation over a large landscape approach. Okay, now what next here is Asiatic lion. Now let's talk about some points about the Asiatic lion. Asiatic lion are slightly smaller than African lion. These points are very important. Maybe in exam they can ask you a question, which of the following statement is correct regarding Asiatic lion? So Asiatic lions are slightly smaller than African lions. Now this lion, this species is listed under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Okay, Wildlife Protection Act 1972 में Schedule 1 में ये species का listed है. It means required a large protection. Sites के अंदर ये Appendix 1 में. Now sites again are international initiative for the protection of endangered species. Those species, their population is declining because of international trade. So CITES is a international initiative, intergovernmental, you can say effort where we conserve the species, or we can just means we have to stop the international trade of some species whose population is declining. Okay, so that also include 3 Appendix 1, Appendix 2, Appendix 3. So So appendix, those species will part of the appendix 1, means their body parts, their trade in a body parts, live trade, that everything is completely banned. Only allow in a scientific research and education purpose you can do a trade about this particular species. Otherwise, any type of trade is completely banned if any of these species will become the part of appendix 1, that is under the sites. Okay, so in prelims they can ask you about the sites के बारे में पूछ सकता है आपसे कि aesthetic lands का किस list में है. Second, third one is about the IUCN red list. So under the IUCN red list, it is categorized as a endangered species. Okay, remember it's not a critically endangered, it's an endangered species. So these three important means their what are the protection, जो उनका जो ये है जो status है about the aesthetic land is very important. Now, aesthetic lands were once distributed to the state of West Bengal in east and Rewa in Madhya Pradesh in central India. So, if there will be a question about points about aesthetic land only found in Gir National Park, this is correct. But this is also true that in initial few years back, it was also present in West Bengal and in Madhya Pradesh, Rewa district in Madhya Pradesh. These are the other locations where aesthetic land was naturally found. But now it completely means you can say extinct from there, but only present only a Gir National Park. So at present, Gir National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary is the word only here about to the about of the aesthetic land in India. Only a place where naturally this aesthetic land is present is called Gir National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary of Gujarat. Okay. Now, government declared a new 6 new sites where relocating the aesthetic land in India. Okay, so what are the 6 new sites that decided by the government? This is again very important. Apart from Puno Palpur Wildlife Sanctuary were identified under the project land that was announced by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on August 15, 2020. Okay, so Puno Palpur Wildlife Sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh this was a question in prelims. Prelims से पूछ चुका है इसके बारे में. Which of the following is another natural habitat where a government is planning to relocate aesthetic land from Gir National Park? ये already पूछ चुका है. ये जो Puno Palpur Wildlife Sanctuary है, this was decided. Apart from this wildlife sanctuary, 6 new sites further means identified by the government where they can relocate or aesthetic land and they can start a project land. So this 6 new site is very important to remember. Okay, exam point of view से 6 new site काफी important हो जाता है. So what are the 6 new sites include? Madhav National Park in Madhya Pradesh. Remember, in exam they can ask you which of the following national park is recently identified by the government of India for Project Lion. Okay, so Madhav National Park in Madhya Pradesh, Sita Mata Wildlife Sanctuary in Rajasthan, Mukundra Hill Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan, Mukundra Hill Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan, Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh, Kumbhalgarh Wildlife Sanctuary in Rajasthan, Jisor Balram Ambaji Wildlife Sanctuary and adjoining landscape of Gujarat. Okay, so these are the 6 important sites, are very very important. Okay, for exam point of view, exam में environment में कैसे questions आएंगे, यही सब तो questions पूछेंगे. They can ask you about the national park, they can ask about the recently identified sites for starting a project land, तो वैसे question पूछेंगे. Now, why government is relocating this land from Gir National Park to all these 6 new sites? So relocation होने का पीछे सबसे पहले reason क्या है? The motive behind finding a relocation site for this species is because the population Gir has low genetic diversity. Very important. In Gir have a low genetic diversity. You know, biodiversity is 3 types. One is called your species diversity. Second one is called genetic diversity, and third one is called ecosystem diversity. So genetic diversity is important to adapt the changing climate. Okay, जो climate change हो रहा, जो temperature change हो रहा, rainfall change हो रहा, उसके लिए survive करने के species को genetic diversity is very important. And Gir National Park have a low genetic diversity, making it vulnerable to threat of extinction from epidemics. So because of this reason, if any small virus is spread among the species, that will cause for the declining the population. So we have to improve their genetic diversity. That's why government is planning to relocate this aesthetic land from Gir National Park to all other 6 sites. For the first time, the entire genome of the aesthetic land has been sequenced by scientists from CSIR, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, Hyderabad. So it was scientifically researched. It was found that it is very important to relocate this species so that genetic diversity will be improved and their chances for means they are become population become less and spread of disease will be decreases. Okay, now modern information and communication technology is the proposed in the conservation, protection, and development effort of the greater Gir regions. Additional information communication technology will include the following. Now, what are the important steps taken by the government of India for the protection of this project? Static land, GPS-based tracking like surveillance tracking, animal tracking, and vehicle tracking. Now, with the help of GPS, we were able to track the movement of the static line. Automated sensor grid like magnetic sensor, movement sensor, and infrared heat sensors. Night vision capability enhancement. GIS based real time monitoring, analysis, and report generation. So, complete utilization of modern technologies. Information communication technology means night vision capability. In night time, it was very difficult to identify the movement of this lion. So, night vision capability enhancement, automated sensor grid like magnetic sensor, movement sensor that will identify the movement of the lions. Also about their different means lions. One lion is very different from other lions, so it will also help in sensors means counting the population of lion, whether their population is decreasing or increasing. That will be a very helpful for the government to identify whether the project is implementing and showing the fruitful result or not. Okay, so that modern technology will be involved. So this is the project line. Now project line, you should remember the all 6 news sites along with the Kula. This is the मध्य प्रदेश का एक साइट है, उसका नाम को सिवा बाकी 6 साइट्स को भी याद रखना है, ठीक है. Now our next important project is Project Dolphin. Now Project Lion and Project Dolphin both started the same time. Okay, so these 2 new projects were started by the government of India. Now Project Dolphin called Gangetic River Dolphin were declared as a national aquatic species in 2010. I think this was again a question in Prelims. पूछ चुका है प्लेन्स में कि which of the following is the national aquatic species in India. इंडिया का जो स्पीसीज है वो कौन सा नेशनल एक्वेटिक स्पीसीज इज कॉल्ड डॉल्फिन, गैंगेटिक रिवर डॉल्फिन. ओके, so Ganga river dolphin is a species of freshwater dolphin. It's called freshwater dolphin, primarily found in the river Ganga and Brahmaputra river and their tributaries in India, Bangladesh and Nepal. Now what is the important point here? You have to know that this Gangetic river dolphin not only found in India, it found in Bangladesh also, India also and Nepal. Okay, maybe they can ask you it is only found in India. That statement become a wrong. It found in all 3 countries. In India, these dolphins are sighted along deep river reaches in Assam, Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. I will recommend here to remember the name of the states also where this Gangetic river are sighted. As per official figure, there are about 3,700 Gangetic river dolphin in the Indian river system. When you see the last couple of year question, sometime in UPSC Prelim they had question statement that directly talk about the data. So data के बारे में भी एक 3,700 है, तो you should know at least 3,700 approx 3,700 Gangetic river dolphin present in India. So Gangetic dolphin has also been categorized as endangered on the IUCN list. So according to IUCN list में इसका status क्या है? It is an endangered species. Okay, remember Gangetic dolphin are essentially blind and hunt by emitting ultrasonic sounds. Okay, very important. Gangetic are blind, so how it catch their prey? It catch by ultrasonic sounds. Among other, the reason its existence is threatened due to the being entangled in fisherman's net. So fishing activity, doing a fishing activity, this type of species is basically means without any reason they catch it. Okay, there is that is one reason behind for declining the population of Gangetic dolphin. Rise in salinity level. Salinity level means it's a fresh water. Okay, it's a freshwater dolphin. So if density of the water, if impurities in river water will be increases, salinity will increases, though survival of this species will become difficult in the water and frequent movement of boats in the rivers. So this species required a very calm environment for their survival. So continuous movement of boats and people's okay. So reason behind for their population is declining. Okay, so these are some important points about the dolphin. Project Dolphin के बारे में कुछ points हैं जो हम लोग देख लेते हैं क्या क्या है. So Project Dolphin preserving our underwater friends. Okay, it's called 10-year project or to focus on both river and sea dolphin. So remember, it's both for river and sea dolphin. Aim to strengthening the biodiversity, create employment opportunities and attract tourism. So tourism को भी effect बढ़ावा देना है, employment generation भी देना है. Okay, so it 10-year project program where we have to protect both river dolphin and sea dolphin. Killing habitat fragmentation by dams, barrages, and indiscriminate fishing has reduced the Gange dolphin, river dolphin population from 10,000 to around 3,700 over the last century. So these are the some reason behind for declining the population. Killing, habitat fragmentation because of construction of dam, barrages, or indiscriminate in fishing has reduced their population. So Ganga river dolphin, a species of freshwater dolphin, is primarily found in Ganga and Brahmaputra river and their tributaries in India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. In India, these dolphins are sighted in all the states named like Assam, Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. Okay, so this project is very important. Ganga river dolphin का प्रोटेक्शन के लिए जो प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट हुआ है by गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. Their location, natural habitat कहाँ पर है, reason behind for declining the population. Now Ganga river dolphin, officially discovered in 1801, can live only in a fresh water. So remember, it's a fresh water. Maybe they can ask you question, it is a fresh water and also a salt water, वो दोनों जगह पाया जाता है, but it is only a fresh water species. Okay, so this is called Project Dolphin. Now Project Dolphin के बारे में और भी points हैं यहाँ पर. So Project Dolphin will aim to protection and conserve dolphin in the river and ocean in the country. ठीक है, जो हम लोग बात किए थे. कुछ point है. The project will involve the conservation of aquatic habitat and dolphin through the use of modern technology, especially anti-poaching activity and enumeration. So we will use modern technology for the protection of the dolphin because anti-poaching activities जो है and illegal killing. Okay, Project Dolphin will engage the fishermen and other river and ocean dependent population to improve the livelihood of the local communities. Local community का livelihood जो है उसको भी improve करना, employment generation को improve करना, tourism को promote करना. This is the ultimate aim of the Project Dolphin. The conservation dolphin will also envisage activity which will help in mitigation of pollution in rivers and the oceans because this is the fresh water. So we have to protect the population of dolphin. So our focus will be more on cleaning. Okay, how we can make our river more clean. Okay, so we will not able to discharge waste material into the rivers. That will be also concern for the government. This is also center of attraction of tourism. Will empower stakeholders like river dependent population in reducing river pollutions and allowing sustainable fisheries and river based other livelihood option through scientifically oriented conservation method. So ultimate aim of the Project Dolphin is we have to protect this important our national aquatic species along with the employment generation, tourism को promote करना. Okay, and pollution के ऊपर भी focus कर रहे हैं हम लोग कि pollution को भी कम करना है because this species require a fresh water. Okay, so human activities जितने increase हुए हैं their fishing activities जो भी है उसको reduce करना और in population of dolphin will be a increases. This is the ultimate objective of this project. Okay, so this three important project is part of our first lecture, first video. We will very soon create one more video where other important projects we will cover. Okay, so I hope this will be helpful for your upcoming prelims exam. You read it and one by line you should read it and find out the important keywords that should remember for your exam point of view. Okay, thank you to everybody.